Welcome back to the Piping Pastor. Well, today I am enjoying again in my Boswell pipe some Mylan's blend, Joe's blend from Mylan, Mylan Tobacco, which is Johnny Youngin, who is 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. It's his local brick and mortar, and Joe's blend is one of his favorite blends. It's a delicious tobacco. I was um, perusing the cabinet trying to decide what to smoke this evening, and I was like, oh, I haven't had that for a hot minute. Hot minute it is too. It's 105 degrees here today, and say this is a really tasty, deep, rich, chocolatey blend. And I thought, you know what? I need to revisit some Mylan stuff because Country Squire for a while had been my like go-to. Apart from Northwoods, which is the singular blend I get from Boswell's and Railroad or Railroad Yard, I think Rail Yard. Those are the two I get from Boswell on a pretty regular basis. But I've been pretty much, a Country Squire person, apart from the odd tens I get here and there. I just charge this, so I'm just making sure. But they've changed two blends now, two of the blends that I used to go to them for, and so I, like I mentioned last time, maybe I should experiment with some new blends from them, but then I run the risk of them changing again. So it's like, obviously. Um, so it's like, what? I just don't know. I don't want to try a different blend of theirs and then have them change it. So it's like, let me revisit some Mylan stuff. And this is a lovely blend. So I've had a few things from Mylan. Their cherry bonbon used to be great. They stopped making it. Mm, I'm not a big aromatic person anyway, but I got the cherry bonbon. I tried that because it's one of Parsimonious's, or was one of Parsimonious's um, go-to aromatic blends. His wife really enjoyed the ruminate of, and probably one of the better cherry blends I've ever tried. Didn't taste real medicine-y. I mean, topping was very gentle, good tobacco underneath, but they stopped making it. But anyway, um, so I have to say the Mylan does not disappoint. So I might have to shift my attention to Mylan from Country Squire, which is a shame, but um, things like that happen. Happily, in the world today, we are doing okay with pipe tobacco offerings. So even when the whole Sutliff thing went down, everybody was kind of freaking out about that. I thought, you know what? We still have about 1,000 blends to choose from. This isn't like back in the day when there was like five. So I think we're also doing just fine. Well, we are going to continue in our work here on Winter Words by Thomas Hardy that has been annotated by Mr. Charles W. Thomas in the summer of 1935. And this one is called Christmas Time. And um, I like this one for the poem in and of itself, but also for how our esteemed commenter here has highlighted things, and I'll get into that in a second. But first, the poem. The rain shafts splintered on me as despondently I strode. The twilight gloomed upon me and bleared the blank high road. Each blush gave forth, when blown on by gust and shower on shower, a sighs that were sown on in handfuls by a sour. A cheerful voice called nigh me, "A Merry Christmas, friend." There rose a figure by me, walking toward the trend, a sodden tramp, whose breaking into song bore straight ahead, taking direction toward the casual's gate. So this poem is called Christmas Time. So at Christmas time, and Hardy is walking along, and it's raining, which is a bummer during Christmas time, right? There's no beautiful snow where it's just this cold, hard rain. And he's despondent and he's like having a hard time and just like, oh, woe is me. And then he sees this tramp, this homeless person walking down the street, completely soaked to the skin, singing merrily and wishing him happy Merry Christmas. And so what our commenter here, he writes, rain at Christmas time, which is a bad thing. But some of the things he underlines here: rain shafts, despondently, twilight, sigh. So he's Hardy kind of sets the stage, and our commenter here points it out, that he's walking along the street, and he's just kind of feeling sorry for himself. And then this line here, a Merry Christmas, friend. He has this little note right here where it says dramatic element. It's a turning point in the poem. Now, we don't see the reaction of Hardy on the other side of this greeting. All we see is this sodden tramp coming up who has no reason to be happy, no reason to be hopeful, and yet is happy and hopeful and singing and wishing Merry Christmas to Thomas Hardy as he's walking along the road. And reading that, it put me in mind of Paul's trip to Rome, when they put him on the ship to head to Rome, and the ship is battered by storms for like a week solid, just day after day. They throw the gear overboard and everything. They all think they're going to drown, and Paul brings them a word of hope. The word of hope that comes with the gospel is impactful because it oftentimes comes from people who have no reason for hope. The peace that surpasses all understanding is not just a blessing for those of us who receive it, it's also a blessing to those who hear it. Because if you have no reason for peace, if you have no reason for hope, if from earthly standards, everything you're like, this person should be just in a horrible mood, and they're not, that makes people wonder why. Where does that come from? And when they investigate that, they find the ultimate source of ontological hope, which is Christ. And that's kind of where Hardy gets to, but he doesn't get on the other side of it. And if you know anything about Thomas Hardy, that's not exactly a Christian apologist. We'll put it that way. So you have here that beginning part, and then the reluctance to go on beyond that. It's where a lot of people end up. They can be despondent, have the word of hope given to them, and then just continue in their despondency. Because at the end of the day, you do have a choice. You can listen to the words of hope, you can find their ultimate source, or you can continue to walk despondently in the rain. So that is it for this time. Nice and quick. So I will be back again next week. I hope you have a lovely week, and as always, happy reading.